All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today is June 9th, Monday, June 9th, 2025, Missile Monday, and I have this article from Times of Israel. And it says, IAEA finds Iran conducted key nuclear weapon production tests more than 2 decades ago. So I'm just going to go into this article and bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And it says the International Atomic Energy Agency's May 31st report on Iran's nuclear activities over the years revealed that more than 2 decades ago, the Islamic Republic conducted and covered up several implosion tests, a key step in the process of developing a nuclear weapon. An analysis of the report found, according to the Washington, D.C. based Institute for Science and International Security, ISIS, think tank, which analyzed and published key points from the IAEA report and released its findings on June 6. The activities carried out by Iran were in preparation for a cold test, one of the final steps in the development of a nuclear bomb. Cold tests are conducted with a fully assembled nuclear device, but with a core of natural or depleted uranium, rather than one of weapons-grade uranium. The think tank said that its analysis of the IAEA report revealed that in 2003, prior to the formal closure of Iran's nuclear program, Tehran had carried out a number of implosion tests at a nuclear facility near Merivan in central Iran. It said that of the implosion tests, 4 utilized full-scale hemispherical implosion systems, including the initiation of high explosions with the generation of a spherical inward shock wave and resulting compression of a nuclear explosive core minus the weapons-grade uranium and explosively driven neutron sources. Excuse me, Slakia. Following the successful implosion tests, Iran had intended to proceed with cold tests and had been conducting blast shielding tests in preparation. The think tank said it was unclear whether the cold tests went ahead at Merivan or at any other facility. The Merivan facility consisted of an outdoor high explosive test site and support area, the think tank said, and it was used primarily for large-scale explosive tests. The Merivan site was sanitized, and in 2019, ISIS said apparently after the IAEA requested access to it. While the IAEA visited the Merivan support area, an outdoor explosive test site in August 2020, the IAEA states it was not able to access the control bunker during the visit. The DC think tank said Iran subsequently demolished the bunker. 3 other nuclear facilities in addition to Merivan have been under investigation by the IAEA since 2019. Leveson, Cheyenne, Veriman, and Turkuz Abad. These 4 facilities, along with other possible related locations, formed in the heart of Iran's undeclared structured nuclear program, far beyond the supposed end of its formal program in 2003. ISIS found, adding that the IAEA report had confirmed for the first time that these sites were directly connected to missing nuclear material in Iran. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but again, it's just pretty much going into how, Iran has pretty much been developing, or trying to develop nuclear weapons for, a little over 20 years now, that they've been conducting, these cold tests, because again, Iran, if it's not already, is well on its way to becoming the 10th nuclear armed nation, because Iran is going to be one of the nuclear armed nations that is going to help, Russia take down this place in Babylon, So I'm not going to make this one too long. I'm going to start with the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5. And it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And right, man, this is why you have Iran and other countries like, exhausting their resources into developing these nuclear weapons, and not just their weapons, but also their military in general, man, because this is a time of war that we're in, and Iran is gearing up for war, man. It wants to help take down Babylon the Great, in which it will, But how is it going to do that? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, and verse 16. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." And right, man, what does a blacksmith do? They create weapons of war, and this is what these modern scientists and physicists are, the modern day smiths, because they're creating weapons of mass destruction that are going to be used to destroy this place, America, aka Babylon the Great, and the waster to destroy being the nuclear missile, the warhead in particular, because that's the part of the missile that's going to do the damage, So I'm going to get the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. And it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong." And indeed, this is what you're seeing, man. These different nations gearing up for war, getting ready to go to war with America, And again, these different nations are going to be at each other's throats. As we know, the primary nations that are going to be at, odds are going to be Russia and America. These are the 2 nations that possess the most nuclear missiles. And in between the 2, Russia has more. That's a key indicator that Russia is going to destroy America. But again, like it says, let the weak say I'm strong. So all of these different nations that didn't have this nuclear technology, that America once had, they now have it, so they're not afraid anymore, man, because they know if America uses, nukes, then they're going to use them as well, So it's a very serious time that we're in, man, This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. And, it's lucky not 50, Jeremiah 51, verse 1. And it says, "Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind." And what is that destroying wind? That besom of destruction, that sweeping agent, man, because once those missiles hit that target, it's going to detonate, it's then going to explode. That explosion is going to cause that shock wave to sweep through the land, sending a wall of fire through and sweeping it, man. Verse 2, "And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." Right, man. Again, not only are, America's enemies going to, the America's enemies obviously are already against her, but even America's allies are going to be against her, man. And just like it speaks of in Revelation chapter 17, man, when it talks about the nations hating the whore, man, it's talking about America. Because these different nations are going to aid in the destruction of America, which I'll actually grab that. It's the book of Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. And it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." And right, man, the 10 horns again being those NATO and EU nations, that are going to aid in the destruction of America, man, because they're going to be angry at this place too. America is going to be completely destroyed. Even America's allies are going to aid in that destruction, So I'm going to just grab a couple more and that'll be it, man. I actually stay in Revelation chapter, or the book of Revelation. I'm going to jump to Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. And it says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the tree, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from heaven, ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." So right, as we wait, for these last couple prophecies to come to pass, the main one being, the mass implementation of the mark of the beast, which is spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 to 18. Once that's made mandatory, the majority of people get it, then the elect are going to be sealed, or the elect may very well be sealed before that time comes, we don't know. But these things won't take place. That destruction mainly won't take place until the elect are sealed, because there's a particular time when this war is going to take place, And these are 4 literal angels holding back the 4 winds. The 4 winds represent the destruction, that is going to take place on the earth. So I'm going to jump to Revelation chapter 9 and verse 15. I'll end it with that. And it says, "And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men." And yeah, man, it's self-explanatory. There is a set time, when all hell is really going to break loose and World War III kicks off, man. There's a set hour, day, month, and year when this is going to take place, And it says to slay the 3rd part of men. The 3rd part of men being the nation of Edom, because you have three classes of men on the earth. You have the sons of God, which are the biblical Israelites, the tribe of Judah, all the way down to the tribe of Issachar. You have the sons of men, which are, the heathen nations. And you have the sons of the wicked, which is the nation of Edom. And that's who this destruction is for, primarily Edom. You're also going to have, wicked Israelites, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, that are going to get caught up in this destruction. And whatever heathens, weren't able to return to their homeland, or the ones that just didn't, want to leave this place, they're going to be destroyed as well. They're just collateral damage. If they haven't returned to their homeland by now, then, they're just over here to die like the rest of these Babylonians, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are let this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till next time I say Shalom.